Welcome to beautiful Lake George, located in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. Welcome to our family adventures. We are a family of 3 from Florida who loves getting outside and exploring everything that this big, beautiful world has to offer. From hiking in the mountains to kayaking in the ocean and everything in between. Come along with us as we take on our next family adventure. Temperatures are reaching 90 degrees and afternoon thunderstorms are becoming a regular occurrence, which means it's summertime here in Florida. This Memorial Day weekend, we're flying north to a brand new destination to our family. And this flight will take us directly to Albany, New York, flying over some of Florida's most incredible coastline scenery. We're taking off to the south from Tampa, and we can spot Tropicana Field where the Tampa Bay Rays play out in St. Petersburg. We then turn to the east, flying over Orlando and eventually out over the Space Coast before turning north to head up to New York. About 2.5 hours later, we descend over downtown Albany and trade the blue skies and warm temperatures of Florida for clouds and rain. Albany is one of New York's smaller airports, so it doesn't take us long to pull up to our gate, make a quick stop at Starbucks, and head down to baggage claim.
Welcome to Albany.
Our good friends Jen and Mark drove up from Manhattan to pick us up at the airport and join us on this trip. We are now driving about an hour north to the Sagamore Resort, located on its own island in the middle of Lake George. We stopped for dinner on the way and pulled in after dark and headed straight for bed. The next morning, we woke up early and drove about an hour north to an area just outside of Lake Placid to do some hiking on trails managed by the Adirondack Mountain Club. Today we are hiking to the top of Mount Joe. This is a relatively short hike at about 2.5 miles and 600 feet of elevation gain above Heart Lake. It's considered a moderate hike because of the rocky terrain hikers must traverse to get to the summit. This whole conservation area is called High Peaks because it's the base camp for 46 different mountain summits across the Adirondacks. This area is also home to the Fire Tower Challenge. Now, to complete the challenge, hikers must hike 23 fire towers in total, including 18 of the 27 Adirondack Peak summits and all 5 Catskill Park summits. Knowing our family, if we lived in the area, we'd likely finish the challenge in less than a year. We make it up to the summit to see miles and miles of greenery and mountains as far as the eye can see. Now, we've visited New York so many times over the years, but have never ever seen views quite like this.
We're joined by my aunt and uncle, and we're here in the Adirondacks in northern New York. Here we are at Heart Lake.
On the way down, we met a golden retriever named Larry who grabbed Mark's hiking stick, assuming it was for him, and then we had lunch before heading back to the resort to get into the hot tub to recover. Lexi, of course, loved swimming in both the indoor and outdoor heated pools, as did the rest of us, frankly.
Semi-quincentennial.
Happy 250th, America. Good night. Good morning. Okay, today is just a miserable weather day, so we're going to spend it exploring the resort and everything it has to offer. Our first stop is the included boat tour of Lake George on the resort's touring vessel called the Morgan. Lake George is over 36 miles long and has approximately 200 islands dotted throughout it. Now, the boat tour took us on a trip up the coastline where we saw a number of wealthy New Yorkers and celebrities that have very large estates on the water. We all agree with Ashley the weather is miserable on the top deck, so let's head inside. The resort offers an included ice cream social every afternoon, which is a big hit for our crew. Next on our agenda is a resort-wide scavenger hunt, followed by a round of mini-golf at the rec center. The resort also has a full-size golf course and tennis and pickleball courts, but unfortunately they were covered in rainwater today. The first stop on our last day here was the gym to work off the amazing dinner we had at a restaurant called Beyond the Sea.
Here we are at the fitness center.
The storms have moved on, leaving behind a clear and sunny day today. Let's leave our lodge and head down to the lake to soak it all in. We are sitting down for lunch here on the back deck of the Lake House restaurant. This place is great for cool drinks and casual bites, but the restaurant's best feature's gotta be the views. We agree with Mark that this steamship looks right out of Ozark, and here's the Morgan again. What a perfect day for lemonade and grilled cheese. Back in 2020, when we spent our lives outdoors, Jen, Mark, Ashley, Lexi, and I came up with a trivia team name called Don't Feed the Ducks. So of course we have to take a picture with this sign. That saying is so close to our hearts that it's even the title of our text group. It's time to leave the resort now and head towards Albany, but we have one more stop to make before we say goodbye to Mark and Jen. We are going to the Schuyler family mansion and museum here in Albany. Now that name may sound familiar to Hamilton fans because this is the home of Philip Schuyler, who was a Revolutionary War general and had 3 daughters, Eliza, Angelica, and Peggy, and their stories were told in the hit Broadway musical. Unfortunately, we're arriving here just after the last tour, so we're only able to explore the visitor center and the grounds, but it was totally worth the stop to bring a piece of Broadway and real history to life. Our flight back home to Florida isn't until tomorrow morning, so Ashley, Lexi, and I say goodbye to Jen and Mark and head to John Boyd Thatcher State Park, about 15 miles from Albany, for one last hike. This is the Indian Ladder Trail, which is right along the limestone cliffs and has some stunning views over the Hudson Valley below. The trail got its name from the original ladder that was needed to get down to the cliff edges, but now that has since been replaced by these much more stable stairs. The short trail also takes you behind 2 waterfalls, Minelot Falls and Outlet Falls. We are really enjoying the views here. This is exactly why we take these adventures in the first place. The sun is now setting and it's time to head back to Albany to rest for an early morning flight tomorrow. We're driving to the airport the next morning, reflecting on the trip.
And ready to head back to camp.
We all agree, Lexi. Even though the weather wasn't perfect, we truly enjoyed seeing a new part of the country and spending time with family and friends. And as always, we are truly grateful.